Okay, it's another chaotic week of up and down price movement, and most of the people's analysis on the market either has to do with that nasty thought of a trend. And yes, there's trends in the market, and I suppose to me, any kind of move in one direction over any kind of time period is a trend. So one bullish candle on the 1 hour chart is a trend for somebody that lives on a 5 minute chart or a 3 minute chart. So you have to really figure that there's ranges and trends coexisting. This is the big befuddlement of it all is the paradox is that, yeah, the range is your friend until it's not. The trend's your friend until it's not because what is the length of this price pulse, and should you ride it through it to its conclusion? Or should you just do the high probability scalp that you can make that X, right? So that the amount of dive into the market, if you're trying to make 15 pips or 20 pips in an hour in a zone that you figure this is a sweet, un, kind of a old price that's, so you see this a lot now that things are consolidating. So after the shock of um, people behaving in unison, buying all the toilet paper. So unison behavior creates this order imbalance where, okay, it's obvious. I mean, the toilet paper thing is, you can see it on the chart, and then you can see the satisfaction and then the overstock. There's a place called overstock.com. So once we're overstocked and supply and demand, and I just saw a video this guy did. Supply and demand, I almost lost my mind. That's why I do these videos on top of their videos, because he never called out one trade. He says, I'm a professional forex trader, and I'm doing these videos because I got nothing else better to do. But it's all highly produced. I just, wow, I guess so. Then he's like, soft selling people like, oh, on the side I do these sessions. I'm like, you got time for that? I guess. I'm with Samurai Trader Sue Lee. Like, I got a life, dude. I got toys over here. I got toys. So, but I'm just throwing out there the stuff that I've accumulated. So I'm more like, don't really care. I guess I got my scripts out there. I guess if I was going to charge for anything, it would be if I was to go through and put comments on all the scripts that describe. In other words, if you built a mental framework in titling, the way you title stuff matters. So some people will write a book, they'll just come up with a title for a book and write the book underneath that, right? So the story, or they'll write the book and they'll be, what are we going to call it, right? So there's two ways to go, because if you come up with a title, you're forced to go with that trade plan. So if it's a market order, the name of the script is market order. So you're writing for. So if you're going to write a song, can you write a bunch of songs, sentence stems? These are kind of a starter point. So if you're stuck, you don't know what to do, well, open a demo account, write a buy order, write a sell order, or take my scripts that are buy and sells. I'll put a link to the master file that, sorry, the slave files. Oh, sorry. I'll put a link to the all those things. I mean, it's for anybody that's kind of like hack, a little bit of able to play around in MT4. That's not the reason why I suppose these people are charging. They would have some booklet on how to run MT4. But the internet's there, and I suppose I take the no nonsense approach that it's all out there. I'm not going to I don't want to keep track of people's invoices and stuff. Now I know the Suli guy did it and stuff. I don't know how people do that stuff. For me, it's I can't put a price. I don't want to bid too high but too low, so I don't like to even mess around with the money on that level, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's one of those things. Everybody has this weird relationship with money, and of course, it comes up when you're trading because if you're going to get in the market, so the market slammed into some tickets I had, and I went to the oil change place and I looked at my phone and I said, "Wow, I can't believe they filled those tickets. This is coming Friday. This is Thursday in the afternoon in the British pound and the euro. They sold off really hard after I just made, I just got out of my target and I cashed out my longs and I threw in buy limits underneath because I thought, well, they're just going to range it, and I just got out of this long position, and I've been selling, but it's not it's easy to. I wouldn't actually. I'm not going to hold the longs through the whole engulf. I'm going to get out of half the position on the scalp off the floor because I know I'm going to put more limits back in. So I did that, and they crushed into them on both the euro and the pound. So I'm trading the pound and the euro because I'm trading the dollar in essence. So who's going to attack first? Now, if it attacks the pound, which moves down 80 pips, and the euro's only going to move down 40 pips, I got a grid laid into the pound deeper. But when I cashed out on my laptop, I dropped a bunch of tickets, and I said to myself when I dropped them, wow, if they ever go down there, I mean, that's going to take like the rest of the day. Well, it only took 2 hours to drop like 80 pips or 40 pips, so I couldn't buy at the market after that. I think I bought a couple at the market thinking, wow, that just dropped like 40 pips. That's ridiculous. So I did click that. Um, I added to it at the market thinking, there's no way. And then I thought, oh no, they're going to tank it down some more. So then I stopped buying at the market and I threw limits in deeper. Now I'm putting in limits that have bad ratios because I need to scalp off the floor of that because it's going to keep crashing. So like on this chart here, if I draw like if I've missed the move, so to speak, if I didn't breakout trade this, if I didn't put a buy stop here, well above, well I don't have the, if I turn on the bar chart, let me just switch to the bar chart. So if I put a buy stop here, I'm waiting for, okay. If I see a bar chart, I think breakouts. Buy stop here, small bar breakout system, sell stop. Is that a good trade? Do you need to back test this trade? Only for the pip range. Only for the pip range. So that's a 40 pip 4-hour bar. Yeah, you need to risk about 50 pips on that trade. Because you're going to get trapped if you get double filled on these, if the market zips up. If you do another, now this would be a turtle trade, you put another sell stop, another buy stop. Now you're protecting your position. As the market drops down, now the volatility is too big. You got to get out of something because your trailing stop, if they come back and get you, you're going to lose money. You got filled here. You got a trailing stop up there. Now, if you trail your stop to here, here's where everybody trails their stop. Here's where new sellers come in on breakouts because we have a small bar. That trade, another thing this guy was doing is blowing my mind. Talking about sell limits and what's going on in the market. Dude, you have no clue. He's like, well, there's this and that, and the banks. Who cares? This is the most obvious thing in the fucking world. This must just be so painfully obvious, but I guess it's not that obvious because people just don't want to accept the reality of this. This is the bar chart. If you trade breakout strategies, why breakout strategies fail? You don't wait for a small bar? Does it make money on this chart? Okay, now I'm just going to jump around. I can't take it. I'm going to go right to the breakout systems, market systems, limit systems. This is the only three fucking ways to trade. So you could trade this goober thing. This is no nonsense trading. This is Albert Brooks trading. His beginner trading. Oh, this is for beginners. Yes, you could do this kind of thing. But you're going to have to step into the world of going to the 4 hour chart. I mean, are you really going to wait? This is the weekly chart. Are you really waiting for a setup on here to trade a breakout system? There's no way you could trade it right now. The last 2 weeks on this thing, the bars are too big. What are you going to put a buy stop here? Let me guess. Don't you wonder what people are thinking when they talk about these videos? And I'm like, yeah, but, well, you got to back test it. Yeah, for pips. If this is 100 pips, from here to here, I think it is. Are you really going to put a buy stop here and a sell stop here? Well, whichever way the wind blows. Did it over here? It worked. They had a sell stop here, buy stop here. Okay, they did trap me there. Got me there. Now, you'd wait for a small bar. You waited how long? Now, this is where the turtle traders made all their money. Is selling new lows. Selling low and buying lower. So they were selling, cashing out. Because they waited for small bars. They just kept it. And then here, this is this big down. This is where they got burned. They just kept playing that game just like here. If you were to buy high, you buy the breakout. And buy high, sell higher. It comes up here. But see, the auctioneers understand this fact that this is, once you take out this solely standing by fractal, boy, the backlash from that is guaranteed nearly. Same thing here. Once you go zippity doo-dah up here, it's all the way zippity doo-dah back. See, and this is what just crushes any kind of algorithm. Some guy said in the comments, I bet you wish he had his algorithm. To what? Blow up my account? Or no, I'm sorry. Not just never make money. Probably not blow it up because it doesn't trade. Okay. The no nonsense system is about not trading. It's about don't risk anything. Well, gotta wear a mask, you know. It could help. Yes. So it's like, well, if we get rid of the 13th floor on the building, maybe, the elevators won't crash. Yeah, you notice there's no. So this is the same kind of answer. Listen, how about you stop humping people and licking them and spitting on them, right? How about that? Jesus Christ. You can see the breakout system that would make money here would be, you're waiting for a 200 pip weekly bar, buy stop, sell stop. Buy stop, sell stop, let it fill. Here, buy stop, sell stop, let it fill. You're long by default. Buy stop, sell stop, you're long by default. No trades. Now through here, are you cashing out? Now what do you do? How you can just live off of that? How you can live out of breakout trading? Sure, it breaks out, it makes a nice run. I guess here, right? This is like the most premium entry. It even fits the, oh, that was a trend line there. It broke and it came back. There's a setup confirmation. How many of these trades are you doing, man? Come on, don't be ridiculous. And then are you really going to, well, yeah, and the algo was triggered here. Like, these people sell these courses. Our system picked out this entry on that day, and then you had just the right, and then you had, well, I loaded the wagon here. I waited how long for that trade? Oh, about a year. Yeah, me and Earl, we were stalking the market. They say you got to stalk the market. We knew there was support in here, and once the support gave out, we just knew there was going to be like a breakdown here. It's going to be crazy, crazy. Earl said you got to get on that trade. So now, What about the goober like me that's going to go buy limit, buy limit, buy limit? Why do you got them fancy buy limits down here, Joe? Well, because I'm going to buy this, and then when it comes here, I'm just going to cash out. It's all pre-planned. It's all pre-planned. When it comes below here, I'm going to buy below here, see? You can't just buy below there. That's support. Ooh, they broke the... Yeah. But look at I made money. If I held through this whole thing. Why do I have to know this? When all I really got to know is if I put sell limits in. When the market's here, what do I do if I'm a seller? Well, I could put a structure sell limit here. Perfect fill. Bottom became a top on the weekly bar. And I know that there's this big, gaping, looming void back here just itching to be crushed to bits. Gee, what could possibly go wrong? And so, but I mean, as far as making money from that, means that you had to get on the train here, hold through the crush as it pounds in these floors. Don't forget, there's me buying this and cashing out to there. Buying this hole and cashing out to there. That's my trade. That's the highest probability early scalp deep vacuum weekly. That's a no-brainer trade. That's my favorite trade. Although I'm sure if you looked at this 100 pip window, that inside this weekly, we don't know because we can't see here. I'm sure there was a scalp to that floor. In fact, I know that in this 1 week, everybody cashed out. So this is the kind of other sleeping. And this is, okay, the guy was sent me an email talking about, well, he's going to get in denser here. Yes, denser here. And I think that what he's talking about was a linear grid. So linear grid trading as opposed to martingale. If you were to load up, the ultimate is, this is the lonely wick tip. That's a hammer, right? I mean, I'm not going to turn on the candles for you, but that's the candles. Big bear. Who's in control here? The bears. Yeah, I mean, you had to sell these hanging men up here. It's just a gold mine. When it comes to stop hunting and market maker, this is a gold mine. When it comes to breakout trading on here, yes, you could make money breakout trading on here. Buy stop, sell stop, filled. I'm short. Look at me. I'm a trend trader. But what about this guy? Limit traders matter. You have buy limits pending below here now. Granted, you waited just as long for that trade, but did you have to wait that long? No. Limit traders don't have to wait very long at all. You got buy limits here. Why? Because there's a 2-week haul. They crush it to here. You could have scalped that 100 pips. If you wanted to just do the highest probability, you'd have a buy limit here, buy limit here, a buy limit here. You take your first 100 pips, you're done. The wick tip trade. Same thing up here, selling new highs. You could make a whole system. All you do now here, you're going to get filled, filled. Now you're in 2. Here, only 1 ticket filled. That's a problem. How are you going to control this? You'd actually buy like 3 tickets here. Sell limit, sell limit, sell limit. Here's only 1 buy. Pretty good trade. Was this the better trade to go short here 3 and then ride it down? And when it comes into here, you got to cash out because somebody bought that. Somebody, we don't know who, and not everybody bought that, but the winning trader on limits bought that and he dumped into this top. See? The whole story lives right here. The limit trader that buys this plunge, this ticket finally becomes break even at this point. What's going on now? I bought this at the market. If I'm trading this chart on the weekly, I just bought so much here, and I'm going to cash out and take at least 100 pips off. That should be obvious as hell what the trade is right now. It's down on the weekly buy. You may say, well, that didn't work here. Really? It's down on the weekly buy. You had to take something out. It was not like you thought this was going to go up. You got to have more than one ticket. Oh, that sounds like work. Yeah, no shit. But it's less work with the scripts because you just drop racks in there. Let's turn the candles on. So a lot of people like the candlesticks because it tells that story. White down, black up. So here, you could make more money if you trade at the market and with stops. Open to close, this is low volatility, open to close. It's also a low volatility bar. So these two criteria now make another filter. Big body. So if you have a system that's going to, well, it's going to buy this big pullback. Right, so if we pull back, we need to have, on this chart, we need to have a 700 pip stop, a 600 pip stop, a 300 pip stop. You need to have all those kind of stops. And because look at these wicks here. This thing opens on the weekly, comes clearing up back. It's like it never happened. It's just this is, I think, what's just too much for people to take. If you go to the line chart, that just didn't happen. That's just fake. That's fake prices. This is why people are saying, well, those are the bankers just crushing your algo. Yeah, I know. This nice trend line here. Man, we were in this nice uptrend. It was amazing. Beautiful. It's like, look how smooth. Look how nice. We even had a channel going here, right? It's beautiful system going. And then turn on the wicks here. I'm like, for God's sakes. Now, it did hit my target on the channel, right? But it didn't close there. So some people are going to draw the channel like this now because they see the wicks. This is a problem, I think, is if you draw this here and then you're going to copy this over. It's a problem in a way. Maybe not for you, but for me, I've seen too many trend lines. Because I want to make sense of what I see, so it becomes a burden. I could say, well, look, it kind of hit this. Like if I'm drawing this, look at it up there. It's wider. It's a mess. All I care about is, okay, now I'm gonna go to the daily charts. I hope that was not helpful because I don't want anybody knowing my secret systems. Boy, there's a lot going on in this chart. When you look at the daily charts and you think about the no-nonsense guys, okay, you want to stay in the daily chart? Let's treat it like this. Let's think about it like this, people. I know you can do this. Let's zoom out to where we think we can kind of see. It doesn't look like a train wreck of this currency pair is totally a market maker's pair, right? This is a limit trader's dream, this currency pair. When you go to here, you're going to say it's a trend trader's dream. But when you go to here, see, this is the difference, is that I can't trade this side of the chart. I could talk about this move all day long, like look at this thing come flying back. And it's really a matter of, think of all the trailing money management systems that keep running a trailing stop to protect that. And this would be called a short squeeze, How many of those do you see in your lifetime on the daily chart? And of course, for me, on the weekly, I'm sure on the chart there you could see it that if I bought every, presupposing I've got a 300 pip and a 700 pip and a 500 pip stop, is this not a good trade? You'd say, well, yeah, that's great until this happens. Okay, but this did retrace, not as quickly as this. This is definitely a beautiful, and I think the retracement there is harsh because this is a pretty steep sell-off. That's the answer to that. If you're going to buy below here, see now that is where I would have made my money. With my system, buys new lows here. We get trapped under the floor. We actually close down under the floor. Or we just got to fill the limits here. And we engulf here as the hedge people. 2 daily dojis. That's a big deal. This is the so-called hot spot. This is the looming vacuum below. Now, because this closed down big, not much of a bounce here, but this I know I would have bought this. We are down 200 pips in one day, and if we could have a robot just come in and pull the trigger on that, I think I could do it if I have multiple screens, and if I had a dedicated terminal just to this currency pair, I could just hit a button. Sure, at the end of the day, who could not nail this trade and then ride this for a 200 pip bounce? Who could not do that? Now, if you are holding from here, this was the bottom, became a top, you sold here, and you're still in this trade and you're up all these pips, it's not going to be me. But I see how that is a big trade. I wouldn't lock up all that margin on that because I could be making, I just wouldn't do it. Because if I saw this, if we were here equity wise and I saw it come back to here, I'd be like, you know what, we should just got out here. Why are we babysitting this damn, well, we could have stayed for this. I might be dead. The corona might get me. I might run out of toilet paper in a hurry here. So wouldn't it be more prudent to put a buy limit here and say, I'll just buy new lows and make these many pips. I'll sell new highs. I got sell limits up here in the, I'm sure if anybody's done the supply and demand. The guy that was doing the supply and demand thing, what was making me pissed off was he was saying stuff like, well, there's supply up here. Dude, how? This is the daily chart. What are you going to, what? No, dude, it's down on the daily. I just bought at the market and I got buy limits here. Next problem. It's not a problem. It's so damn easy. It's so darn easy, guy. Dude, people are making so much fucking money selling courses. They don't want to trade. I got it. It's too much work. It is too much work. If you treat every candle, some guy sent me an email. He says he's trading every candle. Yeah, it's amazing. These dojis are just giving away so much information. What they're saying is that we didn't go anywhere. At the end of the day, it's unchanged. So you see unchanged, 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 which means, the story here is that we make new lows. The scalpers have their fun on the daily. How about this vacuum that was forming on the daily? Look at that. Satisfied, story complete, right? If you were selling, and this would take some balls, you got to have some balls on this. Selling new highs on the daily. Sell, sell, sell more, right? Deeper, older, sell even more. Why are you martingaling into that? Plus, you've just got your orders that make sense from the pivot standpoint. This is the bigger order. What I'm saying is that how do we know if I do this supply and demand thing that this guy was doing, and I put sell limits up here, you really think I know that it would be a dream if they made it to there, and then you could ride this all the way down because you perceive maybe this is coming. because it is coming. If you think that this matters, if you think deep vacuums matter, if you think looming vacuums matter, and at some point, this is the daily, we might come all the way back to here. Maybe not. I'm not going to live in that world because I'm not going to lock up that fucking much margin to make this move, okay? It's not going to happen. You could have trend traded this thing. There is not one bullish day. You could go to the 4 hour and sell every bullish candle, and I guarantee you, you made so much money. Isn't that obvious? The fact that the no-nonsense guy does not do multiple time frame analysis is mind-blowing. He's just a guy that was waiting tables that go, well, you know, you can make money from that. Just get a simple rule list for myself, like don't kill anybody today. I wrote a list of things not to do today. It's pretty long, but so far I haven't killed myself or killed anybody. It just drives me crazy. Obviously, multiple time frame analysis. Now here is, you cannot tell me that on the 1 hour chart there was, if you bracketed every doji during this one day, were you trading that day? Did you show up to your terminal that day to trade the 15-minute chart as this thing smashes down? And maybe you did that one day, and you're waiting for that day to happen again, and it kind of happens here. How many days did you wait for that? And did you say, well, I knew there was a looming vacuum here. Once we tagged this one, came back to here, yeah, that was a looming vacuum. And yes, you could have jumped on the 4 hour train. So you'd also anticipate that you're going to go down into these things. Now here, to be conservative, I have buy limits here and no fills. I may go through the whole week without being filled if I was going to trade the dailies in that manner. But I can't do it. I can't take it. I don't have the patience. So I go to the 4 hour chart. I say, I want to trade this damn thing. I got time. I can check this every 4 hours. I'm sorry, every 4 hours. But really, the most critical time is going to be 9 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock in the morning is a half hour before the Dow Jones opens, which is the cash market. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you could trade 4 hour move. From 9 to 1, you're out. It's a 4 hour trade. Most of the trades I've done on this account, made all this money, is an 8 hour trade, a 4 hour trade. Just load the wagon on that move. Buying on limits on the 4 hour chart is going to take some, you're going to have to look at the chart. But you can see the, if you're going to back test this, looking at this chart, if you buy everything below here, even when the market's here, you got limits here. Now this is kind of far away, but we know this will be ripe for the pickings. But where's the lonely wick here on the 4 hour chart? So you got to find that lonely wick. You put your first order in 10 pips apart. Now there'll be scalps built in here. We scalp something to here, and maybe we scalp the whole thing to here. At the end of 4 hours, if you want to put on a hedge, now the nice thing about the 4 hour chart is these setups are going to come. There's plenty of trades on the 4 hour chart. You can make the argument, you know the daily's going down. You could put a moving average on here. But now the problem is, oh, it's kind of not hitting my moving average just right. Then get rid of it. So I did. You could have a trade plan for small body. You could just bracket these in the 4 hour chart and go, look at, I made money. And here you went long. I can tell you the trade you're in. If you're a breakout trader, you just went long here. Okay, is that a good trade? Should I put sell limits up here? If I'm not in, I'm putting sell limits up here to do this pullback trade. Sell limits above here. How'd that trade work out? Pretty fucking good, because actually, this ticket, if your target was set to 20 pips and you put a sell limit here with a 20 pip target, the risk, 40 pips. Did it make money? Yes. But you've got to come back to this in the 4 hour and go, wait a minute, they just took out this vacuum and that's the fuel for this move. What's fueling the move? Comes onto the floor. The scalpers, they're already out of the trade here, see? So what I'm doing is I'm re-racking. I'm rinsing and repeat. My buy limits are sitting here. They tag it and bag it, I'm out. I come in again. I'm like, really? I'm not even trading at the market unless I see this. We close down. I'm loading the wagon here. In fact, I am stalking this. At this point, when I see them coming to these limits and I've already scalped this and I've already made money, now I'm looking at it going, oh my God, look at this. A weak closing, a doji, everything happening underneath this extreme outlier, whatever you want to call it. That is out in Bozoville price. You buy here. You may scalp to here and get out, but one day you're going to look forward to the engulf in the full tilt auction of comes down here. You ride it, and maybe you do get out here and you take your 200 pips and you ran your 70 pip stop to make 200 pips, and that trade's over. That's like 2 days up. I'm out. I'm going to come in with the limits. I'm not going to buy. This is the trend trader's entry, the doji. If this is the trend, okay? You may say this is the trend, but not for me. I'm putting in limits. Once we get to here, I'm just throwing in limits like an idiot. Right? I just made another 50 pips. More buy limits, more sell limits. Buy limits, sell limits. It's all I'm doing all day long. Sell limits will be here next week. Buy limits down here. Whichever one fills. When I see how much I get filled on, I'll determine at that point. Like if I saw this, I got sell limits in this pocket. They fill them. I see this move up here. I go, wow. I'm selling that. Plus I got sell limits up here. I got plenty of dry powder though. Buy limits galore down to here. This is the first easy scalp. And this is the second. And this is the 10 pip mind-blowing. Wow. You don't have to be there for that trade. If they do close below this low, so how to see the close below trade? Go to line chart. So you take this, if you closed above here, so if you closed into this, you're selling that at the market there. And then you got to make sure you get out because this top becomes a bottom. And they're off to the races. You don't even see this. This is why. Oh, this looks perfect, world. Now look at this. Open down there. That's incredible. That market moves so fierce and moved in 5 seconds down here. They could be missing data there. I don't know how that did happen. I'm sorry, no. It closed down here and it dropped in 5 seconds between these bars. In 5 seconds, it dropped like 13 pips. So this could have just been the spread getting wide. If you're really going to religiously do this, how long does this tickets last on the limits? This is a risk exposure situation. If you put sell limits above here that last all week long, then you are going to have to wait for this ticket to fill and come back to here to cash out to here. Even here, there's some money to be made there. But if you trade it both directions and you can get this rhythm going, if you did cash out to here, aren't you buying this plunge anyway? So you can always get in. It doesn't matter what's going on. My system doesn't rely on anything moving averages. I just have sell limits up here and buy limits. I'm assuming that there are buyers down here, willing buyers, willing sellers up here. This is the stupidest system in the world is what I'm trading. And it's making money because it's stupid. Now the times that it's exciting, I suppose, is you know, this big down move. I do like when I see that. I'm like, oh God, look at that. Oh, they filled my limits, and I'm buying, and then I'm like, wow, really? Um, on the 1 hour chart, this is probably just closed below this floor, right? So in that little micro fractal world, I'm sure this closed down here, and it's underneath here, and it's going back to this premium super deep price, and then that trade's over. See, that's only like 8 hours and you're out. 8 hours and you're. It's great trades. I mean, there's so much money here, and it's just like I know that it looks like if you sold here and you held all the way down, but I know I couldn't. I know I can't do it. I'd rather buy this for that. I'd rather sell this to here. Now this would be the high probability topping entry. You sold this, it came to here, you're out. Now you could ride it for the engulf. You sold to that, and then it engulfed and took out this, and eventually took out a couple days here, right? We know this is the 4 hour chart, so we know this has got to be some kind of day here. This is that big giant void. This void's been filled, that one's filled. Now we're going to go after this void. How we poke up in there is going to be the trick. Do you have the scalps interlaced into here to make money on any kind of static pullback there? Do you have buy limits here? Are you going to swing trade it? Are you going to fill here and ride a possible engulf to here? We don't know if it will do that. It typically does do that. It comes down, makes new lows, then it takes out new highs, makes new lows, makes new highs, right? Because it's taking out those highs. This is a 4 hour chart. There's so much money on this chart. If you got the trade plans, if you keep launching the trade plans into, if you keep putting the tickets in and trading it, all right? So you got to trade what's coming at you. Obviously, there's sellers galore up here. Another big hole forming. This one is the deeper hole. This is the nearest, shallowest hole up here. I don't know. Let's go to the next chart. Here's a chart of supply and demand zone trading. Obviously, we bought this big hole. We had limits in here. Lonely wick theory. Now, if you did buy this, you really have to have some deep pockets, and you're not quite to break even here. Look at how many times this why the dollar CAD really is tough for people. It moves like a true exchange. These two countries are neighbors. The only thing that separates them is a river. This is the range trader's dream in a way, I think, the dollar CAD, if you don't mind, pure auction shit here too. This is the 4 hour chart. And not the best spreads in the world for most brokers on this one, but it doesn't matter for limit traders. You're going to run a bigger stop on this, I think. This is the sell window. We keep poking up in here, and does not engulf on that one. This is the only kind of almost engulf where it hits this and then it takes out this. Now this is the another true trap, super deep window. When it closes, okay, this is the obvious buy at the market because it's heavy down right into here. And if I saw this trade, I'd be like, wow. It'd be just like this one. Buy. The limits are getting triggered on that new low. that lonely wick. Buy limits all the way to here. I'm buying at the market heavy here and heavy here. And I'm already in limits. When it gets to here, the master floor, I'm out. The 50 pips, we're done. Here I'm going to buy this. Load up. Closes down on the 4 hour. Anything closes under there, buying it. So a quick, easy view of that is to go to the line chart. Maybe mark them off on the line chart. It's going to be easier. Also, you have this internal top becoming a bottom. You can reveal the structure here with the line chart. But I'm talking about buying below this close. So this is the close. We're going to buy the lock underneath that. It's going to engulf on the line chart. And then here's the trap. It does engulf on closing prices here, see? So here's the big reveal is that it closed above there. Oh my God, right? Now, if you're on the candlestick chart and the bar chart, you're not going to be able to see on the bar chart. It's hard to see that trade. It's hard to see here too. The line chart reveals the true. Now here, I'm buying shallow pullbacks with a tight stop if I think it's going to go up at the market. Can you see that trade on the candlestick? Nah. I see the limit trade. I see the limits. I have limits in a 10 pip window here, and I just made my limit trade. But at the market, no, I'm going to wait till the close of the 4 hour chart. So can I get bounced out of that with too tight a stop? Yeah, so we're going to have a spectrum of stops. This is the cure. So it's not that you're driving, you're not a good car driver. You just don't have enough cars. You need like 100. You need a fleet of cars because you drive like shit. Yeah, because you're not going to have any perfect. You're going to lose 20% of your fleet. You know, you're gonna get stopped out. A lot of drunk employees. And this is why the closing prices is all you need as far as that. Now look at this other trap closed into that. So the fact that they've locked in above that, that's pretty much saying, wow, I think that is a trap. That is not a real breakout of price. Well, it's confirmation closed above. I would laugh so hard when I hear people say, well, it closed above. It's confirmation. Yeah, maybe here when it closed above in this little baby range, but this closing above here, you can't take it out of context. Look, it closed above. It's a confirmed breakout. Joe and I are going long. Look, this is the flag. We wanted to confirm. I've seen people do this confirmation. We confirm that this is the flag. I took this course, you know. This isn't an uptrend. Do I need to explain this stuff to you? We have moving averages. What are you using? Fibonacci? Actually, Fibonacci, if you use 40 of them, one of them's going to hit. The trend trader says small pullback. This is actually the tight stop guy. Small pullback, buy at the market. Buy at the market. Buy at the market. Buy at the market. Tight stops and let it rip and then get the fuck out. So when it's up like this, you got to get out. The trade's over. Got to get out. So here's the problem. You bought here, then they stopped you out. Yeah, because the limit guy, he's got a pack, an iceberg sitting here in a 10 pip window, and he's got to stop here. And that would be me. And I'm also the guy buying at the market. So I'm buying at the market and I'm putting in limits. If I sell at the market, because it's a big up bar, so here's the rule. If you see the bars up, if you have a trade plan for an up bar, if you have a trade, you need a trade plan for a big up bar and a small up bar and a medium up bar. it does matter in the context of the landscape of previous price where that's happening. That does matter, but not really. It matters, but it's not going to matter to the whether you get stopped out of that. The outcome is not. Nobody knows the true outcome till it comes out. Till the market proves you right or wrong. So switching back and forth between the line chart and calling out those trades. So if you sold here with a tight stop, here with a tight stop, yeah, you could counter trend trade that even. Right? So it all works. You sell the wide stop, you sell the wide stop. Why? Because it's up big. Did you survive that? Yeah. Could you have? You waiting and you're waiting for a trend line break, or you're buying at the trend line. You got a little trend line here, or you have a buy limit here. Did you get filled on that buy limit? So you have to keep on going back and forth. There's a lot going on in this chart. So what if you put a buy limit here? Does that work? Let's see. You got filled on that. So you got filled here. Who else got filled on that? The guy that's running a tight stop hunt, Algo. Who's he hunting? The Goober trend bots. They're long. They do a cancel replace, keeps tightening up their stop. Who's buying that stop? The 10 pip window market makers. They're making a mint. Why not be that guy? You're not making money trading? Just have a tight trailing. Same thing on the now on the upside. The same story. Sell limits with a 10 pip stop. How's that not making 40 pips? You just got to keep running it. The component that's going to create exposure is going to be the expiration date. What is this? A sell limit that lasts for a week? Or does it last for 12 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours? If it only lasts for that, then it filled it and you made your money. If you put a sell limit here that lasts for 4 hours, you didn't get filled on this. You see, this is a big deal, this top. If you have sell limits here, 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 and some of them, they did stop you out, but some of them they didn't, see? And here's another rinse and repeat. This wick tip, this is now a new lonely wick up here. I'm putting sell limits up there. In fact, this is how I'm doing the sells now. I'm trying to do the sells the same way I would do buy limits. This could keep going up. It's okay to sell high. I don't need another reason. I don't need a moving average. I don't need MECD. I don't need it. If the market is here and I'm long because I bought this hole and I bought this structure and all this bullshit, and I bought here all the way down, and this one eventually becomes a winner. I bought all the way down. When it comes back to here, if I'm going to, what I'm doing now is getting out, obviously, to here. But now I have the luxury of putting in sell limits. And I may only make this, right? Because my system's set to make 20, 30, 40, 50 pips maybe in 4 hours. That's my trade. Like, I'm not in these markets more than 8 hours. So if I sold this top here, when it comes to here, I'm probably out of half the position. And then here, I think my targets, I don't really have an 80 pip target, so I wouldn't even be around for this, but I can guarantee you that when the market was here, I could see this. Can't you see that? Do we need moving averages? Are we so fucking retarded? Do you need a mask to go to your other room in your house? I can see why most people lose trading forex. Look at how many people are wearing a mask. Of course, they're making you wear a mask now, even though it's causing Legionnaire's disease. The humidity in the mask. Kind of sick how this thing turned around. I didn't see that part of it coming. I knew people were dumb, and I knew this was going to be stupid, and people were going to come up with fake numbers, and they're going to 1,000% this, and now that all the math's wrong. But the wake up's coming across the board for people because nobody knows anybody that died. Look at this dollar cat. Anybody range trading this? I perceive that the dollar cat is going to march into this zone. I have sell limits here on these rooftops. I'm not trading this pair because it's just not another thing they have to pay attention to, because if they do fill that, and I have sell limits here, I got to cash out because I know this has to be my exit, and if I don't have the exact script that's going to cash out into this top, which I'm probably not going to do that because I'm just throwing in baskets, that if it does come back to there, I need to get out. I'm not going to leave one ticket, so I'm a little bit OCD when it comes out. I'm not going to leave one ticket in the other direction. If this thing's completed its move, comes up, comes back, I'm out. Because I got buy limits pending here. Now this would last. Now if I put singles in instead of racks, sure, a buy limit out here could last. But why would I put a buy limit there? Am I really going to wait for this thing to come down and tag that and bag that and do that? No, I'm not. This is plenty. We come to here, we trap there, we make this. We come to here, we trap there, we make this. We come to here, we trap there, trap on the top, boom, boom. But I mean, look at this fucking train wreck. You're selling this to make that. You buy this haul to make that. You sell here to make something. You're making it all along the way. It's a gold mine. You just got to put the orders in. Kind of canvassing the neighborhood, so to speak. Here's another one. Ranging. Look at this ranging. 80% of the market's doing this. Why are you trend trading? If somebody sold you a course, I'm sure you sold yourself in your mind. Look at this move here, man. You know how many pips that is. Great, but where do I get on the train? You know? And how often does this happen? I'm not going to rely on that. Cherry pick that chart. Right. How in the whole context, let me just be realistic. Now that you can see more data, how many times we see this kind of move on here? Isn't most of this market just bullshit? Be honest. The biggest lies are the ones we tell ourselves. Look at that. And explain this to me. Let me guess, you went short here. Look at this. Man, I can't believe this stuff. Look at that. Wow. That is the 4-hour chart, dude. That is insanity. I'm sure somebody made money. I'm sure your targets. Did you have your targets set for here? This is the funny thing about that no-nonsense guy is like, it's so cute because he's using a 14-period ATR to get that thing to fucking say hello. You gotta pound it with this kind of move. And for him, he'd be like, yeah, I made a lot of money there, and then it's kind of crazy. I had to rewrite my algorithm. I had to look for a new indicator after that. Yeah, really? These are over-the-counter markets. There's no regulation. Can't believe, look at this. This is that. Look at these markets. Get a load of this monthly chart. I just take a gander as we close out our fun video. You tell me now, this is the New Zealand dollar on the monthly chart. If you had enough money, wouldn't you just love to buy this vacuum and be like, yeah, I scalped to the floor for a couple months here. Then I held it for the engulf. We took out this. You should have been there. Came into fair value. Finally. And we sold everything we owned here. And then we bought this hole. And then we got out there and then we bought this one. This is the latest trade. You could have bought this. Sure, with running your 1,000 pip stops and your 500 pip stops, yes. This thing's popping up here a little bit. Amazing moves. I always like to drill down. We start on the monthly charts in our courses, and then we go down to the. Let's go down to the trade. It's so funny because people, yeah, let's go down to the 1 hour chart. No shit, I'm not using a 1,000 pip stop, dude. Here's the 1 hour chart. Yeah, I got buy limits down here in this 10 pip grid. I got sell limits up here in this pocket. So you can see all this the trades here. Now it looks like, hey, you know what? I could buy here for a bounce to here. I could sell here. Gonna make 10, 20 pips, right? Anyways, I hope that helps. Probably didn't, but that's the point.